Hello, happy Father's Day to all of the lovely fathers that are tuned in to our wonderful show today. My name is Pastor Herson Gonzalez. Today with me, my friend and trusty sidekick, my brother Eliud Hidalgo. Thank you for being here, my friend.
No problem.
And we're here as men today, as dads.
That's right.
Very proud fathers. We have some terrific kids. Just before we came on the air, we're talking about the great gifts your kids get you.
Yeah, the same ones all the time. My kids. I love my kids. They're great. Love my kids. They're great kids. When they have money, they get me good gifts. You use my money to get me gifts.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. At least they thought about it.
What's the worst? And not because they're here. Because I've gotten some pretty funny gifts. You get the ties?
Yes. The T-shirts, the underwears, the socks, and the pajamas.
Hey, pajamas. I love pajamas.
Just the pants. They don't get you the shirt.
They don't go for the whole set?
But they get good ones because it says Dad on it, or it says Superman, or it says the greatest dad. You know,
that's nice.
Yeah, they give me the greatest dad.
And you know what, though? All kidding aside, I know your kids, and I know the relationship you have with them. They love you.
Yeah, they're good.
It's a great thing to see. Today we're going to be talking about dads, and my relationship with my father is great. It didn't always used to be great because he was a disciplinarian. He was the one that corrected me. And sometimes in my life, I felt like I mistook his discipline for lack of love. I mistook his discipline for cruelty. As a kid, because that's how you see it. You don't see the benefit of correction. Now, 41 years old, 2 kids of my own, a couple of churches, I see the benefit of discipline.
That's right.
I see what they produced in me, but I didn't like it when I was going through it. And a lot of people's relationships with their fathers may be strained even because of today, even up to today, because Dad was the tough guy, And I understand that nowadays Mom plays that role too.
A lot.
But when I was growing up, it was wait till your father gets home. When Daddy gets home, and even if my mom spanked me, she was still telling my dad.
Oh, I had it. Oh, my mom, she's the one that spanked. If my father spanked you, it was rare, but you was getting hit, dude. It was rare that my mother was quick. That's what it was. She was quick to smoke you. I say smoke. I got smoke. But I appreciated it. At the same time, like my father, like I was saying, I was thinking sometimes of I've played baseball, I've won MVPs, I've won batting titles, but my MVP was my dad. My dad was my most valuable pop.
MVP, most valuable pop.
Yes. My father, I love my father. He was just amazing. And you know what? We talk about the discipline, but you know what? We wouldn't be who we are today if they didn't just direct us in that right path. If they had to hit us, they hit us. It was.
Yeah, and I know that you might be watching this and say hit. I mean, come on, we don't hit our kids. Oh, my parents hit.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I'm not a big capital punishment kind of guy. I don't think that. I mean, I do think that there's a whole lot of abuse out there. But when I correct my kids, I'll sit down and talk to them, and if I have to, dust their bottom a little bit,
that's right.
They're going to know why before I do it. Oh. But there's no mistaking the roles in my house. Daddy's the disciplinarian.
That's right.
In my house, I'm the tough guy. Yeah. In my house, if the grades are bad, I mean, Mom will have the talk, but when Dad gets in the room, there's reason for shaking, and there's reason. And you know what? There was a time, and I can actually almost remember the day, where my son was growing up, and I was enjoying just being his daddy. But I had to go from being his daddy to being his father. And because he was growing up and he was getting bad habits. And Mom and I both decided, okay, it's time for me to make a switch in my relationship with my son. Now, son, if you're watching this, it was a hard decision to make because I knew that because of the way I was going to be, I was going to kind of drive you to your mother's arms, which that's why it's great to have mom and dad. Because you feel that love and that acceptance and that nourishing from mom. And it's not to say that he doesn't get it from me, but we made a change, a deliberate change in the way we're raising our kids, that daddy would be the disciplinarian. We talked about it, we planned it out, and that's who I am. And I don't say that with any, any silly pride or anything like that. In my house, I'm the disciplinarian. It's my role. I begrudgingly do it. I don't like it. I'm the kind of dad that if I spank him, I'll leave and I go, it hurts me more than it hurts him, because I don't want to do it. I really don't want to spank them. I don't want to correct them. I don't want to take away the things that I bought them. I bought them for you so that you can have them and you enjoy them. But because fathers play that role, something's happened between relationships between fathers and children that people don't think that dad loves them the same as mom. And I think that it's a very sad state, and I think that what we have to try to do is try to explain dad's love a little bit. There was a day with my son a couple years ago, and he wasn't doing well in school and stuff like that, and struggling a little bit. And I had a real rough conversation with him. And up until then, he'd used this phrase twice on me, and I let it slip. But he said it one more time, and I said, "Hold on, I gotta fix this." He says, "Daddy, you hurt my feelings, like real emotional, like you hurt my feelings." And I was like, "Well, guess what, buddy? I'm your dad, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. But if hurting your feelings is what it takes to get you to do that, that's what daddy does." And then that's the day I told him, "Mommy and daddy love you the same, but we love you different. Right. Daddy's trying to make a man out of you."
That's right.
And it's in a different way with my daughter, right? In a way, my mother's Valerie's a bit tougher on Melody than me. But with my son, I'm the tough guy. And I was looking through the scriptures, and I find that maybe dads are getting a bad rap out there, and because abuse is abuse, and
right.
there is no room for it. Spanking a child that doesn't even speak English or Spanish or doesn't understand what you're saying,
That's abuse.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yes.
That's abuse. But once your child is of age and understands that there's consequence for action, I'm all for it. I'm all for correction. But I think dads have gotten a bad rap, Eliud. I think that do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you were saying, my kids, sometimes I have to, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All right, we cool, we can joke, but they know that when
More
I'm
so
serious.
when they were little.
When they were little. But, even sometimes, when they get older, they try it, but they got to remember that I'm still the father. It doesn't matter how old you get. My mother tell me if I'm 70 and I disrespect her, she'll go upside my head. There's a sense of respect, and you have to have that. You can joke with your kids, it's fun, but it gets to the point where they get nasty, you have to put them in their place.
That's right.
Because then they will think that they can do it all the time. And then the sense of respect, you lose it. And that's the point, not to lose it, the sense of respect. I love my children. I might hit them twice in their life, Now I get to the point where I can speak to them and be effective.
Yeah.
I don't have to spank them.
Yeah.
So.
But it's a role that you have, and because you've been able to develop that relationship with your kids, they love you. Because they know that if dad's correcting me, it's because he loves me. It's because he wants a better life for me. But I think that some kids in America grow up so, dare I say, soft, so kind of,
I think the fathers have let them do whatever they want. I think
because we're competing, and let me say this, and I don't mean to but sometimes we end up competing for affection, and if mom gets to be so sweet and nice, we want to be nice, and now especially where there's divorce. Now if there's a divorce and two different homes, then now you got both parents competing for kids' affections, and they're all and if a dad is consistent with his rules, then forget it. They want to stay at mom's. Yeah. Right? But dad's got a responsibility, and I think that the scripture is very clear, and I just want to point out a couple of scriptures today that speak about this. Number one, the Bible very clearly says in Ephesians 6, 13, that that you should honor your father and your mother. Obey your father and your mother. It's your first promise in the scriptures that has a benefit, because it says, and your days on the earth will be longer. I want to just focus on that obey, because it's not a word that we like to hear, but obeying your father and your mother is crucial to your development.
That's right. Absolutely.
They're trying to tell you, and I've seen some cases of abuse where parents are just rude and they're selfish, and it's more about them, about their kids. I'm not talking about those cases. I am talking, but even then, let me just interject. Even then, the Bible doesn't say honor your father and your mother if they're nice to you. Right. The Bible says simply honor and obey your mother and your father. It doesn't say if they're good or if they're special.
Even if they make mistakes, you need to honor them.
Honor. Even if your father is a crack father, or maybe your father ran away and he's trying to make it back into your life, honor your father and your mother. Oh, why should I do it? Because the Bible says it. Because the Bible says that that's a promise, that if you honor your father and your mother, your days on the earth are going to be longer. And I don't know about you, but I want to be around for a little while.
Wow,
and that's a promise from the Lord. Right. But I also understand that accepting the correction of my parents is going to turn me into the young man or the man that I want to be. If my son consistently listens to my advice and observes my counsel, his life is going to be better because of it. And I want you to know that maybe your father wasn't out to ruin your life. Maybe your relationship got so messed up that it got kind of beyond the point of maybe you think where you can repair it. But it started off where he knew his job was to correct you. He knew his job was to instruct you. And out of love, and it's out of sheer love that we do it, we try to correct you so that you could be the best version of yourself. Sometimes it gets misinterpreted into dad hates me. Yeah. Dad is mean. Oh, man, I don't want to be here. I don't want to. He doesn't want to be with me. I mean, men and women are different, and that's one of the things that I need to teach my kid. Mommy's love and daddy's love, it's going to feel a little bit different. My love might be a little bit tougher, but it doesn't mean it's less. I love you the same. And I think that somebody that's watching this needs to hear that. Dad doesn't love you less because he was tougher on you. He loves you the same, just a little different. His job was to turn you into that young woman that didn't have the abortion, or maybe that young woman that didn't run away when she could have. It was daddy's voice. And even now, those of you that made mistakes, the voice you hear is daddy's voice. You shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that. It instilled things in you that you can appreciate now. So maybe, yeah, some fathers, we don't do it right. We make a lot of mistakes. Men are having a hard time trying to figure out the role of man in society and the role of dad in society. But most of us, I believe, understand that our job is to form young men into men and young girls into young women, decent young women. Sometimes that makes correction because it's not easy dealing with you. It's not easy. You're hard to deal with sometimes.
But at the same time, Pastor, what do we do about those that don't have a father? Because that's what we're here for. Right. I believe that's why the church is here for those that don't have a father, for those who feel that they're lost because they don't have a father. That's what we're here for. Right. We're here to help you. We're here to help you seek what you're looking for as a male figure or an authority, that figure that you don't have. But we are here to help anyone that's in need. We're here at 120 Prospect Street, Calvary Worship Center, for those young men that feel that they need someone to talk to, someone to help them, someone to lift them up. Right. That we're here for you if you ever need somebody. Yep. You know, those who do have fathers and have not seen them, listen, man, make it right, because I miss my father to death. My father's not here anymore, and I miss him. I mean, don't wait for it to be too late for you to enjoy your father. It's never too late to try to have a relationship with your dad. You know, for those who are out there and are missing their dad. If you try and take the first step, I'm pretty sure that he'll try to make that next step.
I agree. I agree. I really do believe that. And, you know, it's funny you say that about young people that call us dad. You know, it's funny because they'll call us dad when things are fine. But as soon as things get tough and we need to correct them, some of them, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "You're not my dad." Wait a minute, I thought you said I was. Wait, so when you wanted my help, you called me dad. But when I started acting like it,
You didn't like the
pushed me
correction.
away.
They didn't like the correction.
And that's the thing. Our biological children, they're stuck with us.
That's right. That's right. But they need to know that we're just trying to help them.
That's
the
point.
same way that we try to help our own is the same way that we would try to help you, so that you would become a better man.
Right.
So that when you have your children, you would treat your children in a manner so that they will grow up to be great men.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go to the scriptures, because I have a couple of scriptures to read to you. Eliud, can you read Proverbs 3:11 and 12? I want you to understand, because taking constructive correction positively is key. Just because we're hard on you doesn't mean you have to reject it. Even if I said it in a way that you didn't like it, the correction is needed. So take correction positively, because it's a sign that your Father loves you.
Yes.
If you're wondering, does he love me? You know what? If he didn't care about you, he wouldn't make such a big deal about your mistakes. He wouldn't push so hard for you to succeed. He does it because he loves you. And what does Proverbs 3:11 say?
It says, "My son, despise not the chastising of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loves, he corrects, even as a father, the son is whom he delights."
See, so you have to understand that God the Father will correct us because he loves us, the scripture says. And fathers are correcting you because they love you. It's not because they want to see you cry. Believe me, somewhere in the heart of that man, his very best intention is that you stop acting a fool, that you start to grow into a serious young man. And now, you know, society, I mean, they give awards for the 17th place now. I mean, the society is so soft, and they're creating kids that are so cushiony.
Yes.
And then you got mothers trying to be both father and mother. And I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate how they say it. Oh, I didn't have a dad. My mom was my mother, my father. Well, no, she wasn't. She was just your mom, because she can't be your dad. You know,
That's right.
and I get it. She worked and she did all the things that fathers are supposed to do. I get the sentiment. But there's only one dad. And if you don't have him, then maybe you're lucky enough to have a pastor or a mentor or a teacher that starts to care for you.
Right.
But there's going to come a moment, inevitably, when that teacher is going to challenge you. How will you react to when they try to correct you? Because if you pull away and you run away, you lose the benefit of the relationship.
That's right. That's right.
So God says, I'm going to correct you because I love you. And then he says, like the father who loves his child.
That's right.
So a father that doesn't correct his child is a father that doesn't care enough to correct.
That's right.
So I hope we're positioning this just a little bit different than what you thought about it before, because dad loves you, even though he's tough. As a matter of fact, the way mommy kisses you and she cooks for you and she does these things, daddy works hard to give you what you need, and he corrects you. That's the way he shows you that he loves you. It's a demonstration of his love. Would you agree?
Absolutely. The correction is it's for your benefit.
Right.
See, because if you think that we're good, we want you to be better than us.
That's
That's our point. If I'm a good father, I want my children to be better fathers than what I am. You see? And that's the whole thing, is teaching them the right way, and you grow up to be a great man.
Yep. And you want to know, I am very, very blessed, because my father's 72, and twice a year he comes back, and my father preaches in my church on a regular basis. And I get to see the joy in my father's eyes. I get to see it. When he goes to be with the Lord, I won't wonder, did I make my father proud? I know I did. I know I have. I know he's proud of me. And Dad, I just want to take a moment and say Happy Father's Day to you. I love you with all my heart. And if I'm the man that I am today, I owe it to God and I owe it to you, because, boy, you weren't easy. You were tough on me. Thank you for being tough on me. There were days that I wish you didn't hit me as hard as you did. But guess what? I appreciate it, Dad.
That's right.
You did the best you could with 8 kids, and it's incredible to me that you kept all 8 of us in line the way that you did, with so much love and affection. You knew how to kiss me, you knew how to encourage me, but you also knew how to correct me. thank you for the correction. If I had to thank you for anything, Dad, it would be for the correction. Really.
Just think about when you was a kid and you was getting hit and you would get upset and stuff.
I remember being angry, hating him.
Oh yeah,
I used to say
we used to.
him.
Oh, I want to die,
you, yeah.
and I want to die. These are the things that we used to say. Yeah. But man, when you grow up and you have that relationship with your father, and you have that time that you can go fishing with your dad, when you can go and have just that talk. Like I had that last talk with my dad after his last birthday. You know, I really had that talk with him. And I see it in his eyes how happy he was because he wanted all of his boys there in Florida with him. Because he knew, you know, when you're a child of God, you know when it's almost time. And he just wanted us all together. And he sat there, and I had the most incredible time with him. And I saw his peace. Yeah. And I asked him, are you happy? He says, I am. And that made me, I was so joyful.
Yeah, that's going to
do it. I miss him. And I love you, Dad. I know you up there and you're chilling, but I miss you to death. I love you. I love you. Never stop loving you.
Amen. You want to make your dad happy? Go to Proverbs 23:24. You got that for me? Mm-hmm. Make your dad glad by doing what's right. When my son does what's right, when your boy hits a home run, when your boy runs for or throws for a touchdown, or when he's wrestling and he wins. I mean, states. I mean, it's amazing, but it doesn't compare to when they do what's right at home.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, all that stuff outwardly is great, but when they do what's right, when they have an opportunity to do wrong and then they choose right, all their friends are going to do something crazy. I'm not going with you guys. I'm not doing that.
That's when you more appreciate it. Yeah. Because I know that my son, I'm teaching him right. And he's doing the right thing, not the wrong thing. Yeah. He's not a follower, he's a leader.
Yep. Yep.
You know?
And it's important for us to if we're going to make your dad glad, the best way to make your dad glad is to live a good life. Because he corrected you for all those years, and he sacrificed maybe a closer and more intimate relationship that now I get to enjoy. Now that, remember, I said that I went into this phase where I'm correcting my son. I know that won't be forever. Once he grows up, I'm going to be able to move back into that friend dad. You know, but for now, I have to be tough dad. Yeah. I can't wait until he and I can be those buddies that I want to be with him. But it ain't now. No. And I understand that. He needs me to push him. That's right. He needs me to expect the very best of him. I understand that he's not perfect. I understand that he's not me and that he's not my father. But I have to push him. And read that Proverbs 23:24.
It says, the father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that beggeth a wise child shall have joy of him. Yeah.
The proudest you'll ever feel is when your child is making the right decisions.
That's right.
Doing the right thing. And I'm telling you, when my father comes over and he sees our church and he sees me with my son, my father leans over to me and says, son, I'm so proud of you. And what that does to your heart.
Yeah.
You know, but what he's really saying is, I did the right thing.
Yeah, you did good. You did good.
Yeah.
You did good. You followed my ways, and I see it in you.
In a way, my good decisions validate his correction of me.
That's right.
In other words,
absolutely,
it pays off. The correction, the time that he spent worrying about me, it pays off when we do wise things. The father of a wise man is a proud man.
That's right.
A very proud man. And I want you to encourage you today, look back at your life, look back at the relationship with your father. Maybe it was bumpy, but maybe it was bumpy because he was trying to form you. Maybe he didn't know how to do it. Maybe he did the best he could with what he had. Maybe he didn't have all the education, or maybe he didn't have the patience that maybe you thought he needed. But now you get to do it again. Now you have kids, or you're going to have kids. Now you get to redo it. Don't back away from correcting your kids, fathers. It's the right thing to do. They're going to thank you for it. Yep. Hang in there. Hang in there. Be a good dad. Hang in there. Love on them. Applaud them when they do well, but correct them when they do wrong.
That's right.
We encourage you to continue to living lives that are full of hope. You're watching Hope TV. Today it was my honor and privilege to spend this time before you. Eliud and I and the entire team at Hope TV, we thank you and we wish you the very best Father's Day of them all. God bless you. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye now.